It's nothing new to use tiny objects in grand ways in video games. We've had toys, little army men, and even Lego. But now we actually have a sequel to using mushrooms? I'm the Ex-Hardcore Gamer, and today I'm going to be talking about Mushroom Wars 2. For those that are unfamiliar, the original Mushroom Wars game came out all the way back in 2009 as a PlayStation 3 exclusive on the PlayStation Network. Real-time strategy games weren't all that popular on the platform, but Mushroom Wars stuck out because of its simplified gameplay based on Galkin and the fact that it had a nice cartoony art style. Its popularity led to it being ported to multiple other platforms, and eventually a sequel came out in 2016. Now, after a Switch version being available, we're finally getting other console ports on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and today I'll be talking about the Xbox One version. As I mentioned before, it is a real-time strategy game, but don't let that scare you away if you're not normally a fan of the genre. It does make some changes and does simplify things, which makes it appeal to more of a wide audience. Mushroom Wars 2 is designed to be picked up and played by anybody quite easily, whether you're new to the genre or have been playing for years, and even if you haven't played the original game. Right away, those will notice that a big difference between Mushroom Wars 2 and other real-time strategy games is that there isn't a lot of resource management. Instead of having to worry about building up an army with various units that have different types of attacks and then also units to harvest materials, the game only has you build up soldiers. Simply speaking, you're going to have a base that starts with a certain number of soldiers that you can then use to send to invade other buildings on the map. All these buildings have a health bar that's basically just the number of soldiers that are inside of it. As long as you have enough soldiers to overtake it, it will then become yours. Now again, you aren't placing these buildings like in a typical RTS, they're just already on the map and are either going to be on your side, the opponent's side, or neutral. To further streamline the gameplay in Mushroom Wars 2, there are only 3 types of buildings that you can capture. One is used to be able to grow more soldiers for use, another is a defensive tower, and the third is a forge which makes all of your soldiers stronger and faster. Even when doing upgrades to these buildings, the currency is still your soldiers, so if it takes 20 of them to be able to upgrade, 20 of your soldiers in that building will disappear to make it stronger. It's all about sending enough soldiers from one building to another to be able to overtake it, as even if they run into enemies on the battlefield, they do not fight. All the battles take place inside the buildings. All this just boils down to now the strategy being, do you want to reinforce buildings you already own, take over new buildings, or make them stronger with upgrades? Spend too much time or resources doing one thing or the other, and it might lead to your opponent getting stronger and them taking over everything easily. While I feel that the touchscreen controls of previous iterations of Mushroom Wars 2 were definitely more comfortable, the controller is still more than adequate at getting the job done. The left analog stick is used to move the cursor around, but it will quickly snap from building to building that you own. Then once you press the right bumper, it chooses which buildings you're going to be able to attack, and again, quickly snaps between them. Then at the quick press of a face button, you'll be able to choose which percentage of your units that you're sending. So it could be 25, 50, 75, or 100. Easy as that. When pressing the left bumper, that will choose what you would like to do with that particular building that the cursor is on, whether you want to switch it to one of the other building types or to upgrade it. There are different game modes that can be played, but the basic idea is to be able to take over all of the other buildings on the map so you control everything. But there's also King of the Hill and Domination style. There is a single-player campaign mode that consists of 2 different episodes that provide plenty of gameplay. It'll start you off by teaching you all the different mechanics that you need to know, and you can go back and play levels at harder difficulty levels to earn more stars. There is also 2 different modes for online multiplayer. You can either do 1-on-1 or 2 versus 2. The multiplayer gameplay also has quite the variety due to the fact that there are multiple characters that you can pick from to play as that each have their own abilities done by pressing a different direction on the D-pad. Also, even despite this being a review build, there was plenty of people playing and I was able to get matchmaking done very quickly and jump right into the battles. The graphics in Mushroom Wars 2 retain the original's cartoony style, but improves upon them by making them have more detail and more vibrant colors. As I only have an Xbox Series X to test things out on, I was not sure if it was One X enhanced, but I can say for sure it was not Series X enhanced. I know that seems a little bit confusing, but basically everything is still running on stock Xbox One hardware, but still looked and ran great. I didn't see any frame rate drops, and everything was bright and colorful as I mentioned before. The lighthearted vibe continues in the sound department as there's going to be nice upbeat music on the soundtrack, and the sound effects all have a cartoonish feel to them. While I do think that it is a shame that it took so long for the game to come to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, I say better late than never. With its simple and addictive gameplay, I found myself sitting for hours in one sitting playing, which I normally don't do with these kinds of games. Because of that, I find this super easy to recommend to anybody, even if they only have a passing interest in it. I have more than a passing interest, though, in thanking our indie warriors. Bill T., Christian Cruz, Kevilo, Mitchell Hall, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Adriana Amato, CJR, C. Coyle, Skeptism, Haley, Julian Colbus, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Bunny, JRS the 8th, Ray Lynn, Marky Mint, Dave Harp, Peekaboo, and Lex Noyle. We have the list growing all the time. If you would like to become an indie warrior, all the information is in the description below. We want to thank them and thank all of you for watching. Until next time, thanks again and enjoy gaming.